What's going on, y'all? It's your man, Stephen Bardo, coming at you with another edition of Bardo's Breakdown. I hope you guys are a little heavier and feeling a little bit more love. You got a chance, hopefully, to spend time around your loved ones for Thanksgiving. You ate too much. Maybe you got tired of your in-laws, possibly. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there because I slept over the weekend. I got really run down. They shoot us out of a cannon pretty quickly. And so I had a bunch of stuff in a row, hadn't been sleeping well. So I chose to take time instead of going to see my parents in Carbondale. I chose to spend the weekend resting up. So whatever you all needed, I hope that you got, because I was able to get my rest in and do what I need to do. So I'm refreshed. Thus the brushed suede jacket. Red is my favorite color, for those that don't know. So but red is definitely my favorite color. So I hope you guys had a great weekend. Let's jump into it, because the Big Ten. Well, first let me go national, because we've had a shakeup at the top. Gonzaga was number one in the country, and they played Duke, but they played somebody else earlier in the week. Oh, they played UCLA and really looked good against them, but they played Duke. And Duke really, really played well against Gonzaga. Pablo Banchero, 16, Keels, the point guard who you seeing right there, throw the lob to Mark Williams. Keels is a big physical point guard. He's going to be a tough matchup for anybody in the ACC moving forward. And then also Pablo Banchero is probably going to be the number 2 pick in the upcoming NBA draft, behind the young man that plays for Gonzaga, Chet Holmgren. And so this was an outstanding game. Duke outlasted Gonzaga in Las Vegas. And I'm going to tip my hat to ESPN and college basketball for putting all these events together in Las Vegas for the week. Gonzaga played UCLA and Duke. There was some, I believe the Maui Invitational was in Vegas this year, that Wisconsin won. And so a little bit of a shakeup at the top. I like the fact that Duke is back. It's good for college basketball. There are certain programs that when these programs are good, college basketball is healthier. So when UCLA, Kentucky, Gonzaga, Duke, some of these teams in the last season did not fare so well. Kentucky and Duke weren't really where they were previously. So we like to see them in their rightful stage, which is at the top. So you either love them or hate them, right? Because that's what makes sports really good. You have these teams, you have these programs that people either love, they want to follow them, or they hate them and they want to see them lose. Either way, it's a way to get more eyeballs on the sport. So kudos to college basketball, kudos to ESPN, because their set during the week was set in their betting studio, and it is off the chain, ladies and gentlemen. It's all glass, and it looks back on the MGM and the Caesars Hotel. It's really a fantastic look. So big ups to ESPN and college basketball for kicking it off, in my opinion, the right way. So let's look at, there's a new AP top 25 out. Let's look at how the Big Ten teams are ranked in this week's big top 25. So Purdue is number 2. They're 6-0, ranked number 2. Michigan State is number 22 at 5-2. Michigan State ran to a buzzsaw, ladies and gentlemen. Don't sleep on Baylor this year. Baylor is a team that can win the national championship again. Yes. Meyer at 6'10" can do everything. Adam Flagler is one of the best perimeter shooters in the country. They got James Akinjo, who is a Arizona transfer, started his career out at Georgetown. I've covered him a lot. This is a capable young man at the point. They're still big with Jonathan Chachua up front. They've got everything they need. I know they lost 2 pros, 2 first-round picks, but they are for real. So watch Baylor moving forward. Wisconsin, number 23 at 5-1, and Michigan rounds out the 4 teams in the top AP top 25 for the Big Ten. Michigan is 24, coming in at 4-2. Wisconsin won the Maui Invitational. They won 3 games over the weekend. They looked great in doing so. Johnny Davis was the most valuable player in the Maui Invitational. Johnny Davis is a guard, a sophomore guard at Wisconsin, whose dad, Mark Davis, I played against at the professional level, and Mark was tough as nails, but he ain't as good as his daddy. What's up, Steph Devereaux? Good to see you, brother. Johnny Davis, Wisconsin, is a future pro. He's a future NBA player, 6'5", 6'6", really smooth wing. He's a traditional 2 guard, can go get it, can score at multiple levels, at all 3 levels, and he's tough like his dad. His dad was a tough dude. So big ups to him. Big ups to Trace Jackson Davis of Indiana, who dropped 43 on Marshall. It was the first time an Indiana player had scored 40 or more since 1994. Antoine Walker, good to see you, brother. Good seeing you last night. Hope all's well. NBA champion, college basketball champion from Kentucky. Antoine Walker doing his thing, ladies and gentlemen. My man, 100 grand. Stan T.O. was good. Adolphson, 2311, what's happening? Macon 2G, what's going on? I think if that's my man, Mark Macon. That's my brother from another mother. Good to see you on here. Thank you for joining. Trace Jackson Davis clowned against Marshall, ladies and gentlemen. 43 points in a college game is tough to do. Andrew Zoomer Sports was good. Andrew, good to see you. So big ups to Trace Jackson Davis. Our Big Ten headlines look like this. And I know I'm moving through this a little bit too fast, so I'm going to slow down a little bit. Purdue moves up to number 2 based on their play out in the casino, the Mohegan Sun Classic, where they came from behind to beat North Carolina in a riveting game. And then Villanova had Purdue down double digits in the second half, and they found a way to come back and beat Villanova. They made their last 11 shots. Purdue is legitimate. You guys have heard me talk about them. I was vacillating between them and Illinois as my preseason Big Ten favorite. Right now, Purdue is clearly playing the best out of any team in the Big Ten Conference. Illini gets smacked by 20 to Cincinnati. Now, on face value, Brian K. Hurd, good to see you. Thanks for jumping in and joining. On surface, this looked like, wow, how could this happen? Kenny Williams was good. How could Illinois get beat by Cincinnati, an unranked team, by 20? Well, the Illini have been going through their share of stuff, man. I mean, Kofi Cockburn is back, but he missed the first 3 games. Kofi Cockburn, coming back now. Meredith Evans, good to see you. Thanks for joining. So Kofi's back, but he missed the first 3 games. So there's some chemistry stuff there. Trent Frazier has had a bad shoulder. I think he injured his knee. He is not 100%. Andre Curbello's concussion situation is much worse than I was led to believe at first. So he's really having some issues trying to overcome a severe concussion. Then the Illini had been hit with a flu bug. It's not COVID. It's the flu bug. In 25 years of coaching, Brad Underwood has never canceled a practice due to illness. He canceled practice yesterday. So the Illini have a tough matchup in the ACC Big Ten Challenge tonight as Notre Dame goes to Illinois, and Illinois is just trying to be a mass unit. So when you see Illinois later on in the season, the luster is going to be knocked off because of these early losses. The loss at Marquette and the loss to Cincinnati. They were able to come back against Kansas State and win, but they are really struggling right now with their health. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be available tonight for Notre Dame and Illinois in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. So Artez 1982, good to see you. Thanks for joining. So just know that when you see these teams like Michigan, who's struggling a little bit, and I think Michigan's struggling more because of the schedule they've played. They played a very difficult schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, Arizona is a national championship contender. Who in the hell did not have Arizona as a preseason top 25 team? The Pac-12 has Arizona preseason 4th. there may not be 4 teams in the country better than Arizona, let alone in the Pac-12, right? We know that the Pac-12 does not get its credit. It really never does. Because last year in the tournament, the Pac-12 might have been the best conference in the country, right? So Arizona is preseason 4th in the Pac-12, and the way that they beat Michigan, they have 2 starting 5s. Do the Arizona Wildcats. Tate Frazier, what's good? If you guys really like college basketball, if you love college basketball, go check out Tate and Titus, their podcast. They do a fantastic job covering the sport. They're funny. They talk a little shit on there. It's good, but they really they know their stuff. They do a great job. So check out Tate and Titus. Hey, Tate, put the link in so the people can check you out and can follow you if you got a chance. If you're not driving or something, put your link in. Tate and Titus podcast, one of the best podcasts covering college basketball out there. Nikki, I almost said Nikki Lang. Good to see you, Nikki. Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate you. Andy Petty, my brother from another mother. Andy Petty was my college teammate. And we were cool in college, but I really got to know him more out of college and love the brother. He took me over to his homeland in Nigeria. I had one of the best trips I've ever had. Got a chance to give back to the kids over there. We ran some camps and clinics. So I was overjoyed about joining Andy and going back to his original university, ABU, one of the best kept secrets in the world in terms of education. Andy, big ups, brother. Love you. Good seeing you. Thanks for jumping on. So when you watch these Big Ten teams, ladies and gentlemen, the luster has been knocked off, right? And it looks like the Big Ten is overrated, and they very well could be. We'll have to see. But this week they get another opportunity because of the ACC Big Ten Challenge. We'll get into that in a second. But I just want to preface this by Melissa Gill. Melissa Gill reached out to me. She is a student, I believe, at Ryerson University in Toronto. And she was getting the Future Sports Broadcasters clips that I try to do daily. Melissa, thanks for joining. I'm going to connect with you at some point this week if we can. But thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Nikki. I had to go with a little different look. The brushed suede, right? Red's my favorite color. It's not quite red, but it's close enough. Y'all get the feel, right? You know, festive, trying to get into it a little bit, trying to show a little something. One Ryan Mills, thanks for joining. But we're at the end of November. This week is going to tell a lot again about the Big Ten Conference with this ACC Big Ten Challenge. And these are wonderful, right? I know it hurts some of the non-Power 5, Power 6 schools because they don't get to schedule as many games against the Power 5 conference schools because of these tournaments, because of these challenges. But listen, college basketball struggles for eyeballs at this time of the year for obvious reasons. Everybody's going to struggle if you're up against the NFL. They are the ratings giant. We already know that. Enough said. They're also battling the NBA. The NBA comes in. They're also battling college football because now we're starting to get to the conference championship time. This is the money time in college football. So anytime that we can have these teams like Michigan State and Baylor, Michigan and Arizona, Arizona's going to Illinois a week from Friday. I will have that call on Fox a week from Saturday, excuse me. I believe it's December 10th. I will be on the call with Tim Brando for Arizona at Illinois. These are terrific matchups, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm not knocking Marshall in Indiana or Jackson State at Indiana. I'm not knocking those games. But it's really nice to see, like, for example, Louisville and Maryland played in a tournament. Louisville ended up beating Maryland. But these are measuring sticks for these programs. C. Walker Sports, thanks for joining. Scotty 3550 was good. these are measuring sticks. So we like to see these types of games early on. Okay. So have faith in your schools. If they're taking some shots, if they're losing early to some of these other Power 5 programs, that's okay. Because in my opinion, you want to be better at the end of the year than you do early on. Because you want to find yourself, you want to get, if you're in Illinois' case, you want to get healthy. The Purdue Boilermakers have been the class of the conference because they've got some premier wins and they've been healthy. They were without Mason Gillis in the North Carolina game because he had a DUI situation. Thankfully, he was fine. He didn't hurt anybody. He wasn't hurt himself, and it wasn't a health issue. So Purdue has been healthy, and they played like it. Illinois has been banged up, and they played like it. Michigan has played a very tough schedule, and they're still 4-2. They're in good shape. They lost at home. That the Seton Hall loss at home kind of knocked some luster off, as did the loss against Arizona. But anybody that knows college basketball knows that those are two quality teams. So that's not there's no knock against Michigan for losing those two games. So let's get into the ACC Big Ten Challenge a little bit. So I put together some marquee games. I'm not going to list all 14 of them, but I want to give you guys a look at some that you may want to check out. So tonight, the two games tonight, I believe Iowa at Virginia is the first game. It's going to be interesting. Iowa's undefeated, and they haven't played as tough a schedule as some of the other Big Ten schools. Keegan Murray, I tried to tell y'all, Keegan Murray is going to be their business. He's leading the country in scoring right now. The country, not the Big Ten. He's averaging 26 a game. I told y'all Keegan Murray could be MVP of the Big Ten this season. He's that good. He's having a hell of a year. Check him out tonight against at Iowa. Iowa is at Virginia. Notre Dame is at Illinois. And then tomorrow, the marquee games that I think you need to check out. Florida State at Purdue. Purdue number 2 in the country now. Florida State is going to be without 3 of their players, some due to illness, some due to injury. All right. So Florida State at Purdue will be interesting because Florida State is generally one of the bigger teams in college basketball. Long, lengthy guys, switch multiple defenses positionally. So that's always a good game. And then now Duke is the number 1 team in the country. So this is a really good opportunity to see if Ohio State can continue to get healthy. They've been banged up. They played a heck of a non-conference slate thus far, have the Buckeyes, and they've taken some losses. But Kyle Young is coming back into the fold. I believe Malachi Branham may have gotten banged up a little bit. Not in their Seton Hall game, but in another game of theirs. But a wonderful opportunity for Ohio State to upset the number 1 team in the country. And then the last night will be Michigan at North Carolina. I think that will be – those are the marquee matchups. Everyone's playing. Every team in the Big Ten, and then there's one that's left out in the ACC. I believe that's how it goes because I think the ACC has 15 programs and the Big Ten has 14. So one program will get left out of the ACC mix. And so those are the games that I want you to pay attention to. Again, watch Iowa's Keegan Murray, leading scorer in the country, having maybe the best season of anybody in the country right now. Let's see how Illinois bounces back. They got a win where Kofi had 30. Kofi had 33 or 38. Kofi had 33. Alfonso Plummer had 30. I believe it was the first time a Big Ten program has had 2 players with 30 points in the same game. Ooh, I think that was a 30 to 32-year-old mark that it stood. And so it'll be interesting to see how Illinois comes back from that win and having a day off, something Brad Underwood has not done in 25 years of head coaching. He has not taken a day off for illness. That's how bad the flu bug has run through the Illinois team. So it's going to be interesting to see how they match it MASH unit together tonight. Coach Brick 11, good to see you on there. Kenny Williams, early losses versus good teams build character needed for conference play. Kenny, I couldn't have said it better. You want to, like Michigan State does. They try to play everybody because you want to get a sense and a feel for where your team is at. And if you take the loss early, it's okay. Because in the situation, it's not like you're Gonzaga, where St. Mary's, BYU, and then every year it's like maybe one other team in the West Coast Conference is pretty good. But Gonzaga's got to go out and play as many Power 5 teams as they can, because once they get in the conference, they don't have as many opportunities for notable wins. But Big Ten teams, they can go out and play as many teams as they'd like, right? And they still have the Big Ten conference slate to come back and have quality wins. Catmo, I don't think I've seen you on here, Catmo. If this is your first time to Bardo's Breakdown, welcome. Only two rules. Be kind and don't come into the paint weak. If you got a point, come strong, because Bardo's Breakdown group will eat you up if you don't. If you want to join the tribe, if you want to join the inner circle of Bardo's Breakdown, text me to 312-847-2739. Oh, Mark Davis has joined us. Mark Davis, the father of Johnny Davis of Wisconsin. Mark, good to see you, brother. Thank you for joining. Always good to see you. Would love to see your sons, Johnny and Jordan Davis, who are twins that play for Wisconsin. Johnny's having more success right now. Jordan's going to have his day soon. But if you want to join the inner circle of Bardo's Breakdown, where I can text you behind the scenes looks at, games, I'll give clips, do different things. Text me to 312-847-2739. I do not blow you up. Anybody that's in the circle will let you know that sometimes I'm not active enough, but I'm learning this. So please join me at join the tribe, 312-847-2739. Let me go into a little story time with Stephen. So I'm going to go all the way back to my college days. And I think I've shared this on Bardo's Breakdown before, but not during the show piece. So this story time with Stephen has to go all the way back to the University of Illinois. And so I'm trying to take this broadcast journalism course. And I'm not thinking that, my basketball practice is going to interfere with my coursework. And what I didn't know in this particular broadcast journalism course is that you had lab time that was generally during the afternoon. So I walk into this course, and I think from, you guys know that when you go through trauma, your brain will protect you. I can't even remember this professor's name because it was so traumatic at the time. So one, I'm the only African-American student in the class. This first day of class now, and I'm the only athlete. So I walk into class, and this professor is running the names down alphabetically. And so Bardo is, second, B is the second letter in the alphabet. He comes and says, Stephen Bardo, are you on the basketball team? He said, well, you need to just get up and leave right now, because I've never had an athlete. I've never had an athlete be in my class and pass my class, and you're not going to be the first. So I suggest you get your stuff up and leave. I mean, he said that to me back in University of Illinois, back in my junior year. This cat sat up and told me that. Now, my dad was a college professor, and this guy was lucky because I wanted to get up and smack the shit out of him. One, for trying to front me off in front of the class and trying to embarrass me and giving his true feeling about athletes or student athletes. So I was pissed, but I got up and left. And when I went and got my job at ESPN, I came back to the University of Illinois and I found that professor. And I said, thank you very much for the motivation, you cocksucker. That's exactly what I told him. Now, I'm sorry for using the language and everything. If I've offended anybody, I apologize. But I like to keep these story times with Stephen real with y'all, because you're taking the time to invest with me and support Bardo's breakdown, I'm going to give you the real. And the guy, he flushed and turned red. And I said, make sure you tune into ESPN and make sure to have your students tune into ESPN and let them know that you are the motivation that this guy needed to circumvent the BS that was set up during school. How in the hell does I'm going off on a tangent a little bit. How the hell does a place like University of Illinois that calls themselves graduating people with a broadcast journalism degree not allow for student athletes to come through the program and graduate? Now, I did it another way. Nikki said he missed the assignment. He did, Nikki, right? But I think now these programs, these schools are much better at creating flexibility around the very students that are paying some of your bills. Because that's really what it comes down to, right? Okay, so that guy, I'm telling you, your brain protects you from trauma. That was one of the most embarrassing times of my life. I'll never forget it. And I probably shouldn't have called him a cocksucker after I told him what I told him, but it just felt good. You know what I mean? You know, when you're supposed to do better, but you don't. And when you don't, it still feels pretty good. And I wanted to catch him when he was in a class because I wanted to see if there was anybody else in there. This was like 13 years, no, about 14 years later that I came in and he was still teaching. And I went in and found him, and I was hoping to find him during a course that he was teaching so I could tell his students what kind of a jerk he is. But, you know, so that's story time with Steven. The Sentinel 40, good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. TV Telly Hughes. Y'all check out Telly Hughes now. He's an emerging talent. He's been in the business for a while, but for whatever reason, he got let go of his last position, and the people in the media were not smart enough to figure out that he's in our backyard. Let's go hire TV Telly because he does a fantastic job. He can sideline report. Those of you that follow Big Ten Network, he's been doing some sideline reporting for Big Ten Network during the football season. He has done. He just did a DePaul game last week as a color analyst. I've worked with him as a color analyst. He can studio host as well. He can be in the studio and host a studio show. Brett McWethy, what's up, Brett? Good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. So Jeff Jarvis, thank you, Jeff. You like the jacket? I had to change it up a little bit, a little brushed suede look. Thank you, Jeff. Trying to be festive, trying to be in the season, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so where was I going to go with that? I was going somewhere and lost my train of thought. I apologize. Join the tribe, though. 312-847-2739. Join the tribe. Michigan is young and has caught up in all the hype. B-Foul 57. Michigan is young, but they're going to be really good at the end of the season. I had Catmull says, I had a similar experience as an Illini student athlete, but with a different professor in a different broadcast journalism lab, missing time due to travel to competitions. Catmo went through the same thing. So I'm not alone. Thank you, Catmo, for sharing your experience. I'm sorry you went through a similar situation. It's just unnecessary. I don't get it. And here's the thing. Some of those professors are jealous. That's what it really comes down to. They're jealous of the resources that go towards student athletes. But think about it, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a marketing person for a university, your student athletes are your most marketable students. They're the most visible because they're on national television. They're wearing, where's my jersey? They got the name of the school just prominently displayed in any sport. It just doesn't make sense. But Britt McWethy says, Big Ten hoop season is here. Who you got winning this week's challenge? I don't like the Big Ten right now. Illinois is banged up. Ohio State's banged up. Michigan State's still trying to figure out their point guard position. Michigan is young. Purdue will hold their own. I think Purdue will beat Florida State. I think Wisconsin, I believe Wisconsin has Georgia Tech, if I'm not mistaken. I believe, the one that I'm really watching is Iowa, Virginia tonight. That's going to be a nice matchup. I want to see if Iowa can translate their early success against a Power 5 program. Okay? So I'm going to wrap up now because these games are getting ready to come on. Cat Mode, thanks for jumping in and sharing your experience. That warmed my heart. I think Bardo's Breakdown community liked hearing that. Thank you guys for checking in. Come back to Bardo's Breakdown throughout the week. I have updates on game reactions, game previews, and whatever's happening in college basketball news that's big, that's growing, I'm going to comment on it. So make sure you come back. Thank you, Mark Macon. Appreciate you, brother. One love. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great week. Good luck to the Big Ten. Come back to Bardo's Breakdown. I'm telling y'all, it's lit all week long. Holla, y'all.